Hi, I'm Mark Gibbs with the Great Outdoors Nursery in Austin, Texas. And today we are enjoying this beautiful day. Had a good thunderstorm overnight and now it's cleared up. It's nice and crisp still and it's just beautiful out. So we're going to talk about sort of repurposing your pumpkin. Say you've already gotten it carved, we'll give you some ways to deal with that in a minute. But we're going to talk about turning one of these into a cute little flower pot. We've got the Weeby Little here. We've got one of our smaller sizes left over. So this is just a fun little project. You can take all sorts of combinations of annuals, or you can just do a monochromatic and use one type of annual, depending on the size of your pot and maybe what your flavor is. So on the annuals, we're back to, and you're going to get tired of me saying this, but it's just a reminder, thriller, chiller, spiller. I do want to put 3 different tiers in here. So some good thrillers are the Nemesia that's out right now, really stunning, does come in multiple colors. We've got the Rocket Snaps. These guys get about 2 feet tall, believe it or not, sometimes 3 feet. This is a beautiful reddish tone, crimson red. They come in whites and yellows, so this would be another great option for a thriller. And then if you just like foliar, I love to present the Dusty Millers. This is a beautiful silver. You can see the lacier leaf on this version, but this does stay around a lot longer. It might make it up to 2 years in a planting. And it is going to be tall, so that would be a great one for a thriller option and just give you some good foliar pop, which you're not getting flower, but foliar pop is still well worth it. Then you kind of hit your medium tier, the chiller tier. So there are snaps if you want to stay in the snap family. There are carpet snaps. This could double up for you. This could stay as a chiller, or if you only want two levels, this is going to spill also in raised pots or containers. It will come over the lip and cascade down. So the carpet versions are really, really gorgeous. Multiple colors, so you can mix and match or just do monochromatic. And then we also have the cabbages and the kales, all sorts of varieties. The nice red foliage on the cabbage there. It also comes in a white, or here's a peacock in the kale. Nice lacy leaf on that. They're going to give you nice full crowns and a stunning, again, foliar color. That's going to give an anchor to that medium tier range and be really, really gorgeous. And then the violas also make a nice medium tier. Viola, the flower's not as big as a pansy, but you sure do get a lot more flowers on a viola. The other nice thing, like the snaps on the carpet version would do, these are going to lay down a little bit, cascade over the side as they get some weight, but give you some stunning repeat cycles on the flowers. All of these guys pretty much want full sun, and so do consider that when you're making these mixes together. Then we have Alyssum as another spiller. The coolest thing about this is it smells wonderful. It does come in a pink. And then there is Lobelia, which is a wonderful spiller. It's a royal blue, and they've come out with a baby blue. It will take it through the cold, and it does make a nice carpet or a front border for a bed if you're not going to do it in a container. Now in the shade, one of your better options in the shade are going to be the cyclamen. These are some little babies here, really gorgeous, but there are 2 sizes when they grow out. So there is one that's going to stay in the 4 to 6 inch range, and then there's another one that's going to get more in the 8-9 inch range. So you can still tier beds with cyclamen or do multi-levels in a container and shade with cyclamen. This is really our most powerful one for shade because it'll take ice in the shade. And there's not a lot of annuals that'll survive those conditions at the same time. Loves the cold. All of these guys will start giving up when the heat kicks in late spring. So you've got a great selection here. The Snapdragons do go back to just budding and budding once they've done their flower in the fall. So don't get discouraged with them or impatient. They really are just going through the short days, and during that time all they're doing is setting buds and buds and buds. And after Valentine's Day, you'll start seeing those buds wake up, and then it's just an explosion. So there'll be foliar, but the colors are incredible in the spring. Absolutely stunning. Just love the Snapdragons. And if you didn't have background noise and things like that, and you were close enough in, if you could hear this when you pinch it, it does make a little pop sound. Most people don't know that, but you'd have to have it pretty peaceful and quiet to do that. The rockets really make the best sound when it comes to those. So basically, we've got our Weeby little pot right here. You can see I've already put some pores down in this guy. I just used a screwdriver. That's the main tools you're going to need if you haven't cut open your pumpkin. need something to cut it open, gut it. We've got some great seeds when we gutted these guys. And then nice sharp knife to do that with. And then a screwdriver. This guy has the toughest skin rind in the world. So it took quite a few hacks to get through that guy. I'm going to tap our big guy now, and on this one I'm probably going to put at least 5 holes. And since technically this is going to be temporary, you can put this in the ground as it starts to decompose. You can just put this whole thing in the ground. It'll be just composting itself, giving some nutrition back to the earth, and then those plants are going to continue to root out. Or you can, as this really gives way, if you don't want to deal with putting it in the ground, those flowers that you put in there are probably going to have rooted really, really well, and you'll be able to just move those as one big pocket into a new planter. So I've got my pores opened up in this guy. Just want to make sure we made it all the way through. Yep. That's just ensuring us some drainage and a little bit of airflow. If you've already carved yours, you're probably going to have enough pore space from your carving for good airflow. That's one thing, but drainage is what we're talking about here. If you want to put a little gravel down in there, you can do that if you want. You don't have to. The last little material you might need is some moss. I was talking about filling in if you've already carved your pumpkin or something like that. We have this fantastic moss. It's called mood moss. It's a little bit thicker, as you can see on the base here. So this is a great item where you can break these into pieces and fill in where you've already carved to keep the soil from spilling out. I would typically go through the inside and just push through from the inside to the outside until that pocket's nice and full. And then when you fill up with your soil, you're not going to have it spilling out, and it'll look kind of ornamental with whatever type of moss you pick to put in there. There's reindeer moss, which comes in a few flavors. Lots of different colors. There's purple, there's white, there's chartreuse, there's mango, there's green, or there's plain old sheep moss. Sheep moss would make a nice filler as well. It's a personal preference, just use your creativity. So we've got this guy open right now. For our smallest little guy right here, I'm going to use one of the cyclamen in this. And I've been playing with the colors earlier. I think we're just going to do the pink one. And obviously you can see that's just a little tiny pocket for soil. So we're going to take our little cyclamen out of here. Wow, look at those roots on that guy. He is ready to be transplanted, that is for sure. Wow. Then we have our wonderful Happy Frog soil. This already has beneficial microbes. It's already got some humic acid. So it's ready to go when it comes time for planting and fertilizing, watering. You're already going to have a nice rich soil base to be working from. And you can see that literally took one little scoop of the pot that I used to plant that with. And boom, we're already just going to need to add a little bit of more soil in there, and we are going to be on our way for planting. And then if I want to get fancy, like I said, that's already pretty full. I can come around with some of the moss and just tuck it at the very tip top. And you see how pretty that comes out. It's just a nice way to soften a little bit, freshen it up. And then you have a front porch planter, you have a little kitchen planter, whatever you might want to do with this. It's very inexpensive. You're getting to repurpose that pumpkin instead of letting it waste away. And then when it finally really does give up, you can put this in the ground or you can transplant it, whichever you want. So we're going to look at the big guy now. And I'm going to go ahead and give him quite a good dose of soil. I'm going to try 3 annuals in here. I want to really make this a strong bouquet. If we had more 2-inch, I'd probably just do the 2-inch of different varieties. But we're going to start with the 4-inch. And again, I'm going to go with that purple just to knock against that orange there. So that's going to be our beautiful spiller. Then we're going to do the white, the peacock kale and the white. And then we're going to put in the rocket snap, which is going to be red. So this is going to be our tall guy anchoring the planting. So I'm going to start with our shortest one. Again, we're going to Let him slide out of the pot. Oh, he's not too bad. He looks pretty good. Barely any tickle on that. He isn't really that root bound. Again, our soil that we already have is fairly moist. The one thing to remember here, because of the way the pumpkin arches out, that the side of that is going to need a little extra soil to make sure you don't have any air in there. And now I'm just taking the bottom of it and cupping it with my hand and pushing it up against this outside edge. That way I'll have a little bit of room for our peacock now. Yeah, see, he's got a little bit better of a root system on him. I'm going to tickle some of this down. And if you watched our vegetable planting section, you can actually put this down a lot further. You don't have to leave this whole trunk sticking out. So I have left a little pocket down in here, so I can put him a little deeper down in. And he's actually going to fill out the side of that really nice. I want to fill in this pocket on the outside, get all that soil down up against the outside of that curve. Yep, that's a nice fit. And now we're going to come in with our rocket snaps. I could do 2 of the rockets or 3 of the rockets. If they were a little smaller, I'd probably try 3 of them for the fun of it. But once this first flower has finished this fall, I'll go ahead and pinch that flower, and it's going to make multiple spikes on it after that. So we're going to have quite a fill of red spikes when that guy starts opening up in the spring. Just going to add a little bit more soil to that. Most important thing is, after you get these guys in here, do a nice thorough watering, just to make sure you don't have any air pockets along these sides when that water settles down through the soil. You may have a few air pockets show up that might need to tuck a little bit of soil into, but I would sort of expect that, just given the curvature of the sides on this. So now we've got a nice little triangulated planting there. That's going to be sort of our corkscrew, height to medium to short. We'll have our cascade on this front side, and our snap is going to fill up this whole pocket. And then we can take some of the, I think I'm going to try some more of this sheep moss. I just love the sheep moss. It looks so elegant. And we're just going to come in and tuck that around the base of our plants, kind of up over our edges here. And you can see how pretty that just gives definition to that whole planting. So that's our little transition. And again, we've probably got a good, these have a pretty thick rind, these have a really seriously thick rind. So that's going to last quite a while in there. This is probably going to last, I would bet, another, I don't know, I think 3-4 weeks minimum, now that we've sealed it up and it's not going to be oxidizing because it's not exposed. So if you think of anything you have questions on any of these guys, please check with us. We are going to be hosting a little class in a couple of weeks. It's going to be open for registration starting today. We're going to be taking some of the Weeby Littles. We're going to be showing you some fun ways to decorate them as a Thanksgiving tabletop item. and then we're going to be planting some succulents in them. But that's a course we're offering. You can check on our website to get the link to it. You can also check through any of our social media. We'll be posting on there, and that's in 2 weeks. It's going to be on a weekend, but you will get the supplies come along with the cost of the class, and it's going to be really, really neat. We have a great host who's going to be representing and talking with us on the subject, and we're just going to be kind of backing her up. And if you have any questions, again, come on in the nursery, ask us. We'll be glad to help you sign up, or we'll be glad to show you how we did this and maybe help you come up with your own combo.